Fans of a Horus heresy, Phobos-pattern bolters, and drilled muzzle brakes, thank you very much for joining me for a modelling demonstration video. And today I am filming a video for you to answer a question from a viewer who asked me something over on Instagram. And the question was, hi Leaky, how do you drill the muzzle brakes on your Mark 6 Phobos bolters? Now, initially you think, oh, well, this is with a drill, but it's not quite so simple as that, because as you can see from brother Eustace here, the muzzle brake on a Phobos-pattern bolt gun is an elongate shape. So it's kind of like it's a round-ended cylinder. And we don't live in a world with round-ended cylinder drills. Drills are just round. So this is a good question, and I'm going to do a quick demonstration today to show you how I did this. Now, this is markedly different to the Mark III bolters on the new Iron Armour Marines, and here you can see you've got two circular muzzle brakes. Here, though, the muzzle brake is elongate. So yes, that's what I'm going to show you in today's video, how to do this. So what I'm going to do is I will show you the tools, give a brief overview of the process. I'll then do it live. We'll see where we turn out, and hopefully that is with a nicely drilled muzzle brake and barrel. So that's the plan. Right, let's start off with tools for the job. Just a few for this. We have a pin vise. This is you can get a number of these. You'll need one that will hold smaller size drill bits, because we're using two fairly small drill bits today. We've got this, which I think is around 0.3 millimeters, and then we have this one here, which is around 0.75 to 8 millimeters. You've got a little bit of wiggle room with that. We're using this one to do the muzzle brake, and we're using this one to do the barrel. So that's why we have those two. So about 0.25 to 0.3 for the muzzle brake, about 0.75 to 0.8 for the barrel, and a pin vise that will hold those. This is just one I've got. There are lots of these available. We have a bradawl spike. So the key thing about this metal rod is something to hold and a sharp pointy bit at the end. And we're using this to create a guide hole for the bolter barrel. So that's all that's doing. We have a hobby knife, or in this case a hobby scalpel with a blade, a sharp blade. We're going to be using this, and this is kind of like part of the clever bit with drilling these barrels. And then finally, the magic sauce is some Tamiya extra thin cement. So this is a super low viscosity cement. Mine's a bit cloudy because, well, this has been used a lot, so it's got a bit of plastic contamination and stuff, but it's normally clear. Any equivalent product to this will do. For those of you who aren't in the know, Tamiya airbrush cleaner is the same chemical as this, and if you can get it, it's way cheaper than buying these pots separately. Although these pots do come with a very nice little applicator. So it's worth having at least one of these, in my experience at least. So that's the plan. So those are the tools. That's not the plan. The plan is we're going to do this in 3 stages. The first stage we're going to do is to drill 2 holes through the muzzle. We're then going to change to our larger drill bit and drill the bore. We're then going to connect those holes with a scalpel. And once all that's done, we're going to clean up any burrs and shavings that are persisting in the muzzle with the extra fin. So that's the simple idea. And here we have a bolter that has volunteered for this process. Hopefully it's going to be a successful procedure. So first step, what we're going to do is I'm going to drill a hole through the muzzle at the back and the front of the lozenge-shaped bore. So that's the first step. In the United Kingdom, or specifically England where I'm filming this, we are in winter at the moment, and winter means less natural light, and I like to film under natural light, so I'm hoping that this will be well enough lit. So fingers crossed, let's go. So first hole, I'm going to just, because I can, I'm going to start drilling at the back of the muzzle. Now, the trick here is to take it slowly, and look at the part from different angles as you're working, because that way I can make sure I keep it true. And there we go, you can see that hole starting to develop. Rather than drill all the way through from one side, what I then do is I start the adjoining hole on the other side. So much like in one of the greatest engineering projects in history, the Channel Tunnel, which connects the south of England to northern France, I'm using the same sort of engineering technique minus the satellite navigation or satellite guidance, or however they did it, to join it. And there we go. So we have a hole. It's slightly askew, but that is not going to matter in the slightest. There you go. So we've got a hole, runs all the way through ye bolter from front to the back. Let's do the same hole, but at the front of the muzzle brake. In terms of the drill bits, what you want to use are drill bits that can be used on either wood or metal. I imagine with these sorts of drills, most of them are going to be metalworking drills at this size. Metal, wood or plastic, you know, any drill for that purpose will serve you well here. And just as with front barrel or front hole, I'm going to drill a little bit on each side and keep looking at the part from different orientations as I proceed. Don't put too much force on either. Just take it easy and gently. So if you put too much force on, you might go through and it could spoil the part. And there we go, we've got another hole. So we've got 2 holes now. Oh, I forgot to mention one of the tools, Dusty Brush, is back for a guest appearance from his retirement. That's because I forgot to bring my other new cleaning brush up. So I've got the 2 holes. Now we're going to swap the drill bit to the one for the bore, and we're going to do the bore. Then the last bit we're going to do is connecting the 2 holes. So at this point we have our friend the Bradle spike. This is fresh off a sprue this morning, so I just need to clean away this mould line that runs across the muzzle. This is definitely not a here's one I prepared earlier. You can tell this is genuine hobby as it happens, which is always the way I try to do things on channel Leaky Cheese. So when you're doing these, you have to be careful with your force, because polystyrene plastic has a certain waxy quality to it and it's quite slippy. So you don't want to put a great big groove across it. So I've got a little hole now. There you go. I've just started drilling that. I'm going to drill this all the way through. So, you know, another important part of this process is a steady pair of paws. And, you know, obviously that is something that it takes practice, and I don't know, it's just an innate thing, isn't it? As I did in a different demo video many years ago, you can practice drilling plastic using sprues that come with your kits. So now I just need to tighten the hood bit because it's not wanting to go. There we go. Okay. So this looks a bit of a hot mess at the moment, but we have got a muzzle hole and we've got the side. So now I'm going to take the scalpel and we're going to cut away the adjoining material between the front and the back hole. I'm hoping this will look okay. This is a very delicate operation and I am working around a camera here, even with my Mark 1 oculators, which I hear that some humans refer to as glasses, providing me with a +5 bonus of magnification. This is still very fiddly work. See, one of the great superpowers of getting older is, as well as cheaper car insurance premiums, is if you do need glasses due to the aging of the lens. I've got very good eyesight. I've got 18/20 eyesight, but my eyes are still older than they used to be, and I can no longer focus as well as I used to do up close. I've got glasses, but a pleasant side effect of this was glasses actually magnify your vision slightly. So not only was everything back in sharp, crystal clear focus up close, it was also slightly magnified. So it's been an absolute boon for modelling having glasses. So yeah, there's a little observation on life. Getting a little bit philosophical here for an episode drilling a bolt gun muzzle. So we can see now, removed most of that connecting material in between the two small holes we drilled through the muzzle earlier. There's a little bit left. And I'm just going to try and remove that. This really does work. I think I did all my Mark 6 bolters, so that was like 40 odd. And then, once I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of the extra thin Tamiya cement or equivalent, and I'm just going to run a little bit. Don't put too much on, but just run a little bit around where I've been working. And all that's going to do is it's going to melt any plastic burrs away and make it all look nice and neat and smooth. There we go. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Particularly for working around a camera. That's more or less that. I mean, you can also take the thin drill bit that you used to do the muzzle brake and turn it into something of a sliding file, and you can place it in the brake and just run it back and forth like this while gently rotating it, and that can help remove any of the last remaining bits of plastic from that area that we cut away with a knife that sat between the two muzzle holes. I've just done a last little bit of glue there. Let's see if that looks, if I'm happy with that now. Yeah, I'm very happy with that now. That looks absolutely spot on. You've definitely got a little bit of room for error with these. You know, when they're going to be viewed at tabletop scale, like Brother Eustace here, yeah. And you can vary the size of the drill bit you use slightly. I think the one that I used here is a little bit smaller than the one that I used here, so you could use a slightly larger one. Same principle applies. Obviously, the bigger your drill bits to the barrel size, the less material is left and the less room for error you've got. So just something to bear in mind there. But if you wanted to go for maybe a 0.3mm drill bit or something that fills that muzzle brake it more fully, like I did there, easy to do. But that is how I drilled the muzzles on my Mark 6 Plastic Marine Umbra-pattern bolters. So I hope you found this interesting. I'd just like to say thanks to my viewer on Instagram who asked me this question and dropped me a tip. Tips are always appreciated. There are links to my PayPal in the video description, as to my Patreon. I don't specifically offer the perks and benefits through Patreon, but any money that does come to me through it supports models that I buy for the channel. And you see a lot of quite expensive models on this channel. So donations are always kindly and thankfully received. If you've got any other modeling type questions like this, little modeling tips and tricks around drilling things or something similar, why not drop it in the comments? Also, as always, I'm interested to hear your thoughts and observations on this little demonstration that I've done today. And just one final bit of wisdom. If you don't want to drill your weapon barrels, you don't have to. It's not necessary. But if you do, I hope this has been helpful. But other than that, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. I'll speak to you next time, and goodbye.